Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Subin and Matt Foreman.
Murphy's Irish Stout.
Hello, Slancha. Welcome to St. Patrick's Day Eve for us Brigaders. That's like our second Christmas. We are really happy and excited to have a guest who not only shows up on time. Look at that guy over there. He shows up on time.
Look at
not
that.
like some other people we know from Cincinnati Soccer Talk. You know how they are. Mark, how are you doing today?
Mark is doing just fine, sir.
You've got that angelic glow about you where, you got a nice little halo going on. You must have had a really charmed week.
Yeah, I've been going with the Hawaiian theme since I was in Hawaii last month, and that's finally run its course. So finally going back to the beautiful stadium. This is actually Nippert Stadium. Of course, we're all old school here, so I might as well bring the old school back.
I remember that place.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Marshall. I'm blanking out. No, I think this might be, as Chris was mentioning, this might be the oldest podcast ever. I'm not going to say
we have a lot of combined years,
but I think it's over 100.
It's well over 100.
Well, yeah, I don't feel that way, but certainly I am.
Yeah.
So I guess the first order of business is,
cheers, St. Patrick's Day tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Cheers and cilantro.
I had fish and chips for dinner today, so and I've got tomorrow off.
My people are from Northern Ireland.
Oh,
so I'm right there with you from Belfast.
Amen.
We got kicked out of Scotland, ended up in Belfast, and then got on the boat from there, ended up in Philly, and that's where I grew up in Irish Catholic neighborhoods in Philly.
And you got kicked out of there and came here.
Correct. I became a Midwesterner because Granddaddy, Uncle Lindner, bought the company my parents were working for in 87, moved out here.
Nice.
Well, nice. And we'll get it more into the details of Mr. Marshall. So I don't think anybody I don't know about our guests, but none of the hosts picked a winner on Saturday. And I am so glad to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong because I thought coming in, those guys were hot, rested. They looked like the measuring stick by everything is going to be going through. And oh my goodness. I mean, not only did we win, but we looked dominant. I think that might be the most dominant performance against a good team I have seen in maybe the history of the club. What do you think, Mark?
Well, certainly a match that had it looked pretty rough at times, but sometimes that's how you get a win is you just have to out tough them. And believe me, it just looked like a bloodbath out there at times. We didn't play the kind of flow that I thought we try to have. It wasn't like that at all. We got our goal basically the same way we played the rest of the game. It was hard fought. Had to knife through players to get to the goal you needed, and but ultimately scoreboard just showed that we were victorious. I was glad to see the possession was in our favor. That was really nice, because it's just not been that way for us. But we're just going to win in different ways, and being undefeated, just sort of says it all. So.
Absolutely.
Prior to the red card, we had 60% possession. What did you think, Chris? You were sitting over by me.
Yes. So. in First Financial.
Yes.
Because I love it over there actually in row 2 because it has lots of opportunity to give a lot of suggestions to the side ref throughout the match. Just some feedback that I think they always find helpful. This is what I'm really liking. We saw this, I think, in Orlando too. We now have really strong squads that we're playing, and they are playing scared of us, right? So they're bunkering down. They're not even trying to enforce themselves on us, which is why we're probably getting more possession. They're scared of our attack, and so they're allowing us to have the ball more, it seems. And it definitely, particularly for Seattle, without their leading scorer, right? So that was definitely a hard thing. For them, with the guy who's killed us. several times when he was with New York. But they were, as you mentioned, Matt, like they were happy to let us have the ball, keep most of the possession, but they were kind of scared to counter too, to not get stretched out, knowing that we were going to, bring it right back to them. We started enforcing our will on the match, and that's like really fun to watch. And it took one moment, some brilliant play. We had working these great triangles throughout the whole pitch, in the middle between our midfielders, then outside to our wingers and back in. Moreno on that play, he drew, when I went back and looked at the replay, he drew 4 defenders to him, dropped off to Brenner, makes it, an individual exceptional play, the goal we needed. And so, we thought we were going to be winning games like 4-2, 3-1, 5-3, and we're 1-0s, or 2-1 because our defense is stout, athletic, fast, tough, and Celentano's got a seat just like the rest of us. Just kind of. Well, in fact, he tried to do something extremely scary actually there in the first part of the match. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
I haven't quite done audio, so I'm going to give you my visual representation of Seattle. This is what I saw all game in Seattle.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I think there's a card.
Yeah.
There's a card.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you
well
breathed
done
on those guys and they fell over. But so I think the MO coming into that match especially was FC Cincinnati likes to go quick. If you give them possession, Acosta or somebody's going to make an errant pass, and then we should have a quick counter. They played it straight. They played it fundamental. They looked so well. The passing was so crisp and nice. Again, I give bad takes, so we're going to have bad takes here a little bit later. But my bad take last week was Moreno should probably sit. Let's bring Kubo in, give him a chance.
Did you see his passing rating?
I'm wrong.
If Twitter was right, his passing rating was 100%. He was 45 for 45. That's insane.
Yeah. Unbelievable. He played defensively. He played as well as he did offensively.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because the battle was going to be in the midfield, and we owned midfield. I couldn't believe how much we owned midfield with their roster.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Moreno just played his heart out. You saw him by about the 70th minute, just gassed, and but you just gotta love his fight because midfield, for us, it's a lofty position now. We're stocked, and it's just great to see. We're just playing so cohesive. That's the last year we were bringing that together. This year we've got it, so it's just a matter of executing from now.
And the guy there is Obi, right? Like he's got that, when he's hunting in the middle of the ground, like it's happening. We were at the training grounds a few weeks ago. They had some of the knights and then a bunch of the SG leaders, and Albright was there and was like, my one question to Albright was like, leadership matters. Like we're seeing leadership top to bottom turn this whole club around, turn the team around. But I was like, who's that guy in training in the locker room that like we wouldn't know about? Like, but when he talks, everyone's listening. And Albright didn't even like pause. He's like, Obi. He's like, he is up everybody's butt. He seemed like the nicest guy. He's got this huge smile, and he is intense and about winning, and he never gets tired. And I was like, oh, I really like that answer. That guy is got, he is the DP that we need in the middle of that pitch.
I think it might be hurtful, but hopefully it's not. It's only 2 matches, I think, but Moreno gets called up to the Venezuelan national team. So hopefully, I think Kubo can fill in that spot very well. I'll tell you what,
the new kid.
Yeah, there's that too. What's his? I can't
Angulo?
remember his Angulo. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, sir. You deserve better than us in our crappy podcast. But
that guy with a whole lot of hair.
Week in, week out, that Mascara kid is so impressive because he is unlike most center backs. They're kind of a little slow. He is fast. He is in the attack. And then if anything happens, he is right back to where he needs to be. But if you're going to park the bus you need a center back like Mosquera to come up and break things down even further. It's a weird set for you want to play us park the bus. We're ready to do it. If you want to come and get us aggressively, we're ready to do it. We're ready to take anybody and everybody at this point.
Yeah. And if I'm on the mold of course, we just have one loan. When Albright looks at his phone, and if the caller ID says Wolves, don't answer the call. Just like set it down, like no habla inglés, like we want to talk. That guy, he's incredible.
Yeah. For me, Mosquera owns that left side of the back line. You just saw him. He was ordering Barrial at one point. Hey, you got to get out on that guy. He knows where he needs to be. And he demands excellence from the guys around him. So, wow, what a shot in the arm for our back line there.
Yeah.
Coming up next week or a couple of days is Chicago. I haven't really done much research on them. I think they've tried to get younger. I think they sold some of their bigger pieces. That's why they're probably lower down at the table. So you're going to get moments of brilliance and moments of not brilliance with them. So, my bad take is we'll probably get a 2-0 win, depending on weather. If they get 6 inches of snow, that might have to change that. But there's my bad take. I try to give one a week. What's your bad take, Chris?
I would say I think I saw, and I haven't done any research on them either outside. I think 2 of their attackers are on red cards as well, just like Hagelin is. So I think I read that right. They're out after they have a formidable attack to begin with. I did also see earlier today, I think Lucho got a knock this week, and he might not be starting. That might be a rumor. I don't know. I haven't fully got through Twitter to know that's. Well, actually, I just opened up Laura Farrell's, her Queen City Press article, and I haven't read it all the way through yet. She'll let us know. But I would say I like the idea or the narrative that Vasquez not getting called up the U.S. team for this one. Well, most of them weren't. So I just want to say that he's angry, and he goes up and hangs the Hattie on Chicago, and gets on the scoreboard and just blows them out of the water 3-0.
I like that, Mark.
Well, I think with the imminent snow that Chicago's going to see, they're probably going to have to pull out the orange MLS ball, and we're going to fight for a hard-fought 1-0 victory. But
I didn't know they were having bad weather.
Orange jerseys, we're going to be the only one that can be seen.
That's right. I didn't realize there was going to be bad weather.
Well, it's coming now. It's what we're getting today in the weather. It's hitting Chicago pretty hard.
Okay.
So yeah, they may. I hope they don't cancel it. That would be no good.
It's Chicago. They won't.
Can I give one other bad take about Chicago?
Sure,
please.
It's not pizza. It's casserole. Right. I mean, wow. It's delicious casserole. I mean, no one pushes the casserole away, right? But that's it's more like lasagna than it is pizza. Ooh. So just from an East Coast guy, from East Coast style, I'll just lay that out there.
Lou Malnati's pizza. Oh my!
It is delicious. It's delicious.
Or get some Portillo's in. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. I see. Luminati's casserole.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that kind of leads us into the interview portion, because usually we're waiting for somebody who's late or whatnot. We could actually jump into it right away.
Sure.
So, South Philadelphia, born and raised.
Northeast.
My question to you is, how often do you boo Santa?
Yeah. I mean, what's he ever done for us? A lot. Whenever he's against us.
Halftime of any game. If I see a fat man in a red shirt, I'm booing it.
It's a city of brotherly love. And also, when you go there and order your cheesesteak like a tourist, don't special order, or you're going to get some of that attitude right back at you.
So, what is your favorite cheesesteak place to go to? Because you don't want to go to the famous, the original one. That's the worst from what I've heard.
Well, Pat's or Geno's. I mean, you can't go wrong. You're not going to go bad there. Bring cash. So this is something you need to know about Philly in general. We have something. The real thing you need to understand is, what we call the mafia, right? So not Queen City Mafia, the actual mafia in Philly. So you go there, it's cash only. It's cash only, like 2023. What do you mean it's cash only? Well, you're laundering money. I mean, that's the only way to launder money is with cash. You don't do that with cards. So all these places, I would say for the most part, whether it be pizza or cheesesteaks, make sure to go to the ones that are well paid up or mafia owned, because they're getting the first deliveries from the trucks. So all of this stuff is on time. They're getting the best vegetables, they're getting the best produce. The best of cheese is fresh. So I honestly, the best places are always neighborhood little Italian places, again, that sometimes have mafia connections. When you go in, there's pictures of the bosses all around. It's like, oh, this food's gonna be good. There's a little place called like Montenero's over in South Jersey I like. Tony Luke's, not the ones that they sell in the stadium, which I think is in the Eagle Stadium and the Philly Stadium, but there's one that's like under the L tracks over near the Rocky statue. That's that was, I think, from Rocky 3, over under the L track. So anyways, Tony Luke's I probably prefer, but like I'm gonna have all of it. Like whichever one's in front of me, that's the one I'm having.
Do you have a special
It's all about
order?
the bread.
Do you do wit?
I do, so I will say when you're doing it for the first time, you got to go wit, get that cheese whiz, but not otherwise. I do provolone, onions, peppers. That's how I make it at home too, on my, Blackstone Outback.
Nothing gets says St. Patrick's Day Eve like cheesesteaks.
There you go. We'll take it. It's always good.
So you were a retired capo.
Yeah.
So if you say Philadelphia retired capo, I think that means you're missing, but you're not missing. So
right here.
So I need to ask this. I've asked this to you're the second capo we've had, or capo, because some people say capo and other people say capo, and some people are very.
I think the Italian pronunciation is capo. I think.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a bad take that it had to do with how much Jameson you had as to exactly how it's
sure. Right. However it comes out.
You.
Yeah. Use.
So tell us about how your fandom. How did you? Obviously, you're not from the area. When did you show up? You said, I guess you said in the late '80s.
Right.
What brought you into soccer? What brought you into being a capo? Because I remember we were being what we called sergeant at arms, basically keeping the drummers away before we had other ways to do that.
Yeah. My background was I never played soccer, was never into soccer. I played, football, baseball, basketball in high school, played baseball in college, married a volleyball player, and, followed her around. But it was being a dad. So my oldest daughter started playing soccer, young, live out here in Lakota world. And she was good. So then it wasn't too long. She started playing club. For me, and I lived a little bit in Connecticut too. And then in Philly was into the Flyers and the hockey. Like I was big into playing pond hockey and street hockey. And when I was watching soccer and watching her play, she was a defender, was like, oh, this is like hockey. It's the defense is the same. The passing's very similar. Like you move to space. You move the puck in order to advance the puck. Like you move the ball to advance the ball. Like, it's all about movement and the pressure and the balance side. So anyways, I started getting involved in coaching, assistant coaching with her club teams just to help out and doing more of the motivation. My background's in leadership, in management. And so was really applying that onto the soccer stuff. So anyways, all that, we would go to some crew games once in a while. My son played, all my kids played. And it was like, whenever soccer pops up in Cincinnati, like we're in, like, we'd like to get involved. So, I was watching whatever the preseason matches where they were streamed and when they first popped up in 2016. I didn't go to the first match. So I don't remember, what was the Pittsburgh match? Was that the second or third match?
That
2016.
That was May 15th. It's my birthday. Yes. I happen to know that.
Okay. So I don't know if that was the second or third match. That was the first match I came to. And then went to the Open Cup match, I think, after that. It was like the first Open Cup match. So I just, showed up in the Bailey. It was like, what's going on? Like, I'm wherever the action is, I want to be at. I couldn't find the march. I remember seeing some stuff online, but it was like, I think there was just a few people that met somewhere out somewhere, and I was like, I think it's gone. I was looking for it. And eventually I started hanging out with the Pride folk. And I think, again, having a whole leadership background, I'm kind of entrepreneurial. I'm used to having my hands on a lot of stuff. I just was looking at these guys like and ladies like, oh boy, they look overwhelmed. Just like this thing's growing, right, blowing up, and like they just look like they need help. So I just started throwing in and seeing where I could help. So some of that was like, manpower in the march, right? Like kind of keep these people safe. We look back now, we're so sophisticated what we're doing now. Like we are like, it's just about earpieces. Like we're by the minute with the club. Like we're a part of the Apple TV broadcast now in the sense of like, we got this all really sophisticated set out, but back then it was just chaos. So just helping out there. And then I joined the board for the Pride, I think in 2017 or 18. And then was like, hey, I'm involved in the soccer stuff up here in the northern suburbs where I live. Like there's just tons of soccer families. They're all going to the matches, but like they're missing out. For me, was like missing out on what's happening in supporter culture, and the fun of the march and everything else that's going on with the other groups. So it was like, hey, I want to start this thing called Norden up in the northern suburbs and engage all the people out here. Kind of one that we call it the wall. It's just 275, right? Kind of like everything north of 275 was just like, and now we have members all over the city, all in northern Kentucky. Like it doesn't matter. You can identify however you'd like. But we mostly, where we gather is in the suburbs. So yeah, we started with a small group in the end of the 2017 season. So yeah, that was December 2017. We founded Norden. And then it just kind of went off from there. Exploded.
I have to tell you, my favorite beer, the beer that I drink at Teakhill Stadium, is Hellas Real, and now that was just like
Grainworks,
a workout with you guys. Grainworks is a great brewery. We have so many great breweries here. How did you get into that? And now that it's blowing up, are you guys blowing up with it? Are you guys going to be making more beers with them?
So I had a coffee company, a coffee roasting company. Back then, I was actually roasting out of Clifton. So I was a chair of a nonprofit board for 10 years out of Guatemala City, where we were like building academies in a slum there in Guatemala City. And so I learned that coffee was one of their largest exports. And so I got involved in coffee, and I wanted to basically import beans from Guatemala, get them here, roast them here. We were roasting them in what now is Top Cats in the basement there. And then selling them with a give back to the mission in Guatemala City. So all of that, I had a lot of friends in the brewery industry. I was around it. Well, I started doing coffee beer collaborations. So I started out with Listermans. We did like 35, 40 beers for Listermans for a while. And that was fun. And moved on, did Hoofhearted brewery up in Columbus. It's actually my cousins, my wife's cousins. We did a couple beers with them with 16 Ounce out in Mesa, but with Grainworks, when they opened up, was that 4 or 5 years ago, at least 5 years ago, in Westchester, I first showed up, be like, hey, like, if you're going to buy coffee for beers, like I'm your guy. And I still bring that Philadelphia like mafia thing in, because I was like, I heard that the owner was talking to somebody else about coffee. I was like, this is my territory. This is my neighborhood. You're done talking to them. You are now talking to me, and let's talk coffee. So we, buzzed us. So we actually made a coffee stout called Brewer's Breakfast with Grainworks, and they still so that was one of their more popular, higher rated beers.
I drink a lot of that.
Yeah, it's
I'll
delicious.
Drink it this weekend.
There you go. And actually, one of my favorite ones that we did with Listermans is I loved their Irish stout, the Shamrock Shake. And I was like, I want to do a coffee Shamrock Shake, and we did. That was one of my favorites for St. Patrick's Day. So that's how I became friends with Grainworks initially, was doing coffee beer collaborations. And we were actually connected with BC Bottle Lodge that had, they have a location in Liberty Township as well as Montgomery. Montgomery is actually kind of where we planted Norden initially. And we were doing some away watch parties there and such, but COVID came. And when COVID came, are you familiar with that? We had this big pandemic thing. might have heard about it. So of course we couldn't meet in more very intimate places, or smaller places. So Grainworks had just done a big kind kind of an addition inside, and they really expanded. We were already working with them, and we had created, actually, the first Hellas Reel was a collaboration between Norden, BC Bottle Lodge, and Grainworks. And actually, I think I have a can. We got a cease and desist letter from the club on that one because it had blue and orange diamonds. And that was back when they. So I guess it must have been 2019 because it was MLS, and MLS found out, and they had already done like $1 million deal with Braxton for Vive, which was like the official beer, which had like little blue and orange diamonds at the top. So they came to us and was like, hey, you can't do a beer, you can't do it like with this label. And I was like, why? And they were like, because of blue and orange diamonds. I'm like, yeah. They were like, I was like, I forget what he said. It was something like, well, those are. We came up with that. I was like, I don't think you did. I think those colors pre-existed. Cincinnati, as did Bavarian Diamonds. But anyways, it was like, no problem. We actually like our current label anyways. And so, we just wanted to make because I was friends with the owners, and we were sitting around drinking beers, and it was like, we want to do a FCC beer. And it was, so I don't remember exactly whose idea it was. Either Caleb, who's the owner of BC's, or Brian, who's the owner and master brewer at Grainworks. Definitely wasn't me. I just agreed to it. Who came up with the pun of the Hellas Reel? Well, actually, there was a couple of other breweries, and one in Columbus that was ready to do the same thing. Had like kind of come up with that pun, but we beat them to the trademark, and started brewing it. And we just wanted a lighter, a soccer watching beer, right? Something you can crush. It's like a little under 5%, and just refreshing. And then the whole, obviously, the pun with the Hellas Reel has been fun to work off of.
So you're a former Capo. So what brought your decision to not do that and join the as I have found out, the retired section,
the Florida of TQL?
Yes.
What brought it on was pain, dehydration. I got old. I started, I probably started capping more in away matches. I think in 2018 and 19, was kind of leading a lot of the away stuff with supporter group people, and then got involved at Nippert. And then certainly once we started into TQL and also with the national team, where I was on the board with American Outlaws as well. Up until this past January. So I think there's a part of my personality, right? I've always found that in my, in our day jobs, right? We're like, we can be buttoned up and do our professional thing. And but you're in the Valley, man, like it's primal, right? Like you are your feral self. And I've always had an intense personality, but like, when can you use that? Like, Matt, like you play music and like you get to kind of like do that there. It's like, what part of my life can I like, just get in people's faces, like, let's go, like everything you got. That's like, I can't do that. Like, I shouldn't parent that way. I can't, I have a couple, I can't teach that way. So it was just, I think that the wanting to use the leadership side of me with like that, passionate intensity side of me, and love soccer. And so, to be honest with you, actually, if I draw this all back, why I got involved initially was for our city. Having been here, I fell in love with Cincinnati. I'm going to die here, literally since until I die. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a completely converted Midwesterner. I hold on to my Philly roots, but I am Cincy through and through. And we always had such a negative view of ourselves, like almost like we were insecure always about ourselves because of losing, right? Like we were always just what we were known for. And FC Cincinnati was such a personal pride thing in our city. It was so cool. We were doing something globally that no one else was doing. Yeah. And that was just like, it made us feel good, right, about ourselves. So it was like, hey, for the first time, like, let's really push into this. That's good for our city. And then, being around, I was so grateful for me that the stadium was built in the West End, in the neighborhood there, and continuing to build on that, because it's like, this is a great thing for our city. Yeah. And so let's have pride in that. And that's the other reason why I just want to keep building this to something that's really, and again, we're going to see it this summer because, right, the Reds suck and they're not going to be any good.
Where are you going to go?
Right. I mean, I played baseball in college. I might go to a game. Like I'm all in, on this FC Cincinnati thing. So, yeah, it's almost like for me, the politics of, yeah, we live in the suburbs. So what are these suburbanites going to do? Marching into the city that we don't live in. These are not our neighborhoods. We just come and consume on match day. So it's almost like a politic for me, a personal politic of like, okay, how do I connect these good meaning people to actually help the neighborhood? So that's when we started creating like the charity arm of Norden. Then we partner with St. Vincent de Paul. So to go like, okay, like you host us on match day. It's not our neighborhood. You're hosting us. We're in your facilities. We're in your streets. How can we be good neighbors? So our first wave was just like, okay, let's partner with St. Vincent de Paul. They've been there for 150 years, helping the people. And so last year we raised $3,000 in our preseason fundraiser, and this year we raised $5,000. And the charitable pharmacy for them, they're able to, through their partnerships with corporations, for every dollar that you raise, they can get $12 worth of medications. So it ends up being like $60,000 kind of worth of insulin for people on the streets. So like for me, it's like a little bit of like this piece of like, okay, in our world of like all this tension of us and them and left and right and all this stuff, was like, hey, we're just soccer people. So there's no us and them. There's just us. It's just our city. So what can we figure out how to do something that's positive and good for our city?
We only have two sides. We only have two sides, orange and blue.
There we go. That's it. That's it.
So one last question before we go. You said that you've done a lot of Capo in away matches. I've been to a lot of away matches.
You have.
I'm no bingle, but I have bingled quite a bit.
Yeah.
Melissa, just ignore that. What do you have any plans for road matches this season?
So this season, I actually do not at the moment. My wife and I are actually leaving on an anniversary trip this Saturday for a week. So I'm going to miss Chicago, and Chicago or Nashville would have been very doable, right? So I'm going to miss both of those because I'm flying on both those days. And I'm honestly not a fan of going to Columbus on a Sunday. I'll make that call that weekend. But the other thing is, like, we've been having such fun and great turnouts at Grainworks for away parties, for watch parties. It's just a blast. I like being with my people there and watching and supporting that. But so I'm kind of holding off and wondering about more of the fall. Actually, Philly in the fall, I think in September. But I'm kind of thinking about, I just got my eye like on a playoff match.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I didn't get to one last year. Well, with the new format,
the two-leg stuff, yeah.
One, right, yeah. It's like, gosh, we'll see. So I don't have any plans, but also, things happen on the fly sometimes.
Well, if my work doesn't get in the way, the news is that this guy and the guy down on the other side, the other coast, we are not only going to St. Louis, we're road tripping together. We're hanging out together. Baby. I feel like there's going to be a road trip podcast in there with some beverages already consumed. Fun. It should be an epic, probably our best podcast ever. But we're looking.
What a story they are.
Looking forward to that.
That's a great option because I mean, really, they're very similar to us, right? Not as much fanfare, but like that's a Midwest soccer town.
Yeah,
and I'm glad they're in the West.
First year soccer, I went to Charlotte last year. They are so excited. They were just so excited to have us and have anybody like, you're not from here. This is great. Here's some beer. Here's some food. What do you need? Like, I'm just hanging here, hanging with you. We have
a ton of Norden people went to Charlotte last year. They're all going back this year because they had a blast there.
Oh, it was.
I hear so much about it.
It was such a good time. So look, if you're going to St. Louis or want to see Drunken Podcasts, look for that in the near future.
There you go.
I'd like to thank you, Chris, for joining our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
If you would like to join the podcast, you can just email me at fcc.supp.square@gmail.com. Hit us up. we're always looking for guests. We have all different perspectives, and if you want to go watch an away match and you don't have a place to go to Grainworks. I've been there for the World Cup games. I was there for Chris's
Massive
birthday
place.
at the same time. That was a pretty epic all day. They have good food there as well as good beer. I'm going to give you the final word, Mark. You send us home.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been fun to raise the age on this wonderful podcast. This is perfect. Chris, thank you so much. I'll just say for all that you've done for giving of yourself to your SG, to FC Cincinnati, to the U.S. men's national team, tireless work. And we appreciate that immensely. It was just so nice, to see, how much you impacted those marches. We lead the march, and and through you, we exemplified that so well, especially that November against Mexico. What a beautiful night that was, and thank you for being
nights of my life.
that march.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Well, that's all we have. We didn't go an hour, but
Pretty close.
We didn't talk to Boston either. So there's that. So thanks to our guest and my co-host Mark. We'll see you next week here on FCC Supporter Square.
Thanks.